Hey there and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you for subscribing, and also don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. I truly appreciate it. So today we're going to be making two DIYs boho style, and then also I'm going to show you kind of like a minute small Dollar Tree haul. I went to a new Dollar Tree and I found some great items. I found these coin bowls, or I don't know what they are, but they're from Patrick's Day. So I purchased a bag of those. I also got that silver runner. Now I got two of these all wood signs, which I'm super excited about because I do a lot of DIYs for shelves and stuff. So I know I'll be using those. I also got one of these bears, which I already did a DIY with, and I'll link that DIY somewhere around here for you guys to watch after. And this is one of the items that I was so happy to find, are these gold metal baskets. I had been looking for those for a while and could never find them. I purchased this sign, which I'm going to keep as is because I absolutely love it like that. Then I also got these metal or galvanized style, farmhouse style picture frames. And I got these 4x6 bent picture frames, and I got 4 of these because I think I will be using those for a DIY, and I've never seen those before. I also got those wooden hearts, and I just purchased some more of the bunny Easter carrots. I got some of these olive green ribbons, which are, I love the color, and I'm going to be using for Easter. So I also got 4 of these white baskets, which I've had quite a few of them, but never have found white. So I was so excited that I did. Then I got these, which was like crazy happy about, because those are those spheres that you can make quite a bit different things with. So if you ever find those, pick them up. I also purchased these rugs, and I got this one as well, which is the black and white stripe. And I got another one that's black and white, but it's a zigzag style. And I did a Christmas skirt, tree skirt, with this same exact rug style. And I'm thinking of redoing something with that. So I might make a DIY for that as well. And I also purchased this color of rug, which is the same style of the boho, because it matches the same olive green ribbon, which I'm going to be using for Easter. So super excited about that. Now today what we're going to be using are these neutral color rugs that I got at the same haul, and I'm going to use 3 of them for one project and then the other 2 for another. So what we're going to do is basically grab your 3 rugs and figure out which one you make sure, first of all, that they're all the same length and size, because since they are they're from Dollar Tree, so they're not all going to be exactly the same size. So when you do get them, and if you want to make a rug like I am, make sure they're all the same size. And you're going to grab one of those 3 rugs and remove the edging of the first rug. In other words, this is going to be your middle rug, or the middle part of your rug. And the reason why I'm removing the sewn edging part of the rug is because when you do connect it and attach it to your other rugs, you don't want it to be so bulky in the middle. Because if you sew it together, in other words, or add some glue or iron-on tape, you're going to have that big bulk when you step on it. So this is just something so you can do to make it more of a cleaner line, and so you won't have that bulkiness in your rug. So go ahead and remove both sides. Now for the other 2 rugs, what you're going to do is remove one of the sides, but make sure you use one for the top and one for the bottom. So the rug that you're going to use on the top, just go ahead and remove the edging of the part that's going to be facing the middle rug. Now go ahead and do the same to what's going to be your bottom of your rug, making sure you're cutting the right side. Go ahead and remove what's going to be the top of your rug facing the middle rug, if that makes sense. Now go ahead and grab the middle rug. Now, in this one, I'm starting with my bottom one, but you can start with whichever one. Make sure you put both front sides facing towards the middle, and then grab them together and sew them. Now I'm sewing them like I said, but if you don't have a sewing machine or you don't want to hand stitch them, go ahead and you can use E6000 and hot glue to attach them together, which I've done before in previous rugs that I've made. And then also, if you don't want to do that, you can at Walmart or a different, Joann's or Michael's, I'm sure, you can find some tape. It's like an iron-on tape that you can sew in between fabric, and it works very, very good. I use it sometimes when I make pillows or what have you. You just sew it together and it stays. So you might want to get that iron-on tape as well, would work for this. So once you sewn your top or bottom part, whichever one you decide to do first, just go ahead and make sure that it's all sewn together and it's nice and straight. Then you grab your last third rug, and you make sure that you're sewing the right way. In other words, depending on which one you did, just make sure the front of your rug are facing together. And then you go ahead and sew a straight stitch to those two together. Now I'm not showing you, but I did double stitch it. In other words, I just sewed two straight lines just to give it more security and make sure that it stayed in place. How simple was that? And now for my second rug to make my set, I grabbed two of the rugs, and what I did was just put both of the front facing together, kind of sandwiched them together, and now I'm going to sew them. And I left the fringe on this one because I'm going to cut it afterwards. If you don't feel comfortable sewing them together before you remove the fringe, go ahead and remove your fringe and then sew both rugs together. Now these two rugs, I'm sewing them vertical together, and the other rug set that I made, I sewed them horizontal together. So once you're done, again, like I said, I went ahead and did two stitches and then two straight lines. Made sure everything was nice and straight and sewn together. Then I removed the fringe. And this is just preference. This is just the way I did it. Again, you can remove it before you sew them together. Now, one thing I do recommend is for you not to toss away these fringes, because you can use this for so many different DIYs. I know I'm going to be using them for quite a few coming up. So if you do this or do have any rugs, don't get rid of your fringe if you do remove them from your rugs. So there you have it, two rugs for $5. Okay, so now our next DIY, what we're going to do is a boho basket style. So I got, again, one of these white baskets. Now I'm going to use a zigzag rug that I purchased, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half and remove the fringe also. So I removed the fringe first, and then I'm going to fold it and cut it in half, the long ways. Now, like I told you guys before, I did do a DIY for a Christmas tree skirt with this same style rug. And what I was thinking about doing is maybe taking it out of my holiday storage bin and making it into a round area rug. So if you are interested in me doing that and maybe showing you guys how I'm going to change it from a tree skirt into a round area rug, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to add it to another DIY tutorial just to show you how I did that, or how I'm going to do that, because I haven't done it yet. But yeah, just go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be happy to add it to another tutorial. So once you've cut your rug, make sure you sew the part that you cut to the top, or I'm sorry, glued to the top of your basket. That way your bottom basket would have a better finish to it. So just go ahead, and you can just use hot glue, or like I am, just using some kind of super glue or E6000, any kind of permanent glue, and just add it every so often, and then add your hot glue as well. And the way I did this was I glued the top first, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get any wrinkles or anything like that as I went on gluing this fabric to my basket. So I went ahead and did it this way. Once I got to the edge of my first piece of fabric, I grabbed my second piece and I glued it to the piece that's already on my basket. But before I did, I made sure I made a nice seam on the edging, just so that it wouldn't have any frill or anything like that. So just go ahead and do that, and then you add it to wherever you ended up with from this first fabric. Making sure it's all even and straight before you start gluing it on anywhere. And what I did, like you saw me here, is I glued it together to make sure that it stayed in place, so it would be nice and even. And then I continued to glue that second piece of rug to my basket. Once you've glued all your rug to your basket, now we can start with the bottom part. So the way I'm going to do this is basically just start wherever my basket's going to be facing forward, and I just kind of straightened it out with my hands, made sure it was all nice and even, and then just started gluing it to the bottom of my basket. And I did this a little bit slower, again, just making sure that my rug wasn't, or the fabric wasn't, wrinkling up or moving, or, so I was adjusting it and tightening it as I went. Now, I didn't add any glue into the center of my fabric or the center of the basket, but you can if you want to. I just added my glue to the bottom and the top of my basket. And I just kind of tugged and pulled and, just straightened it out as I went. Now, once you do get to the end of your basket and you've already glued both top and bottom, go ahead and remove any of the extra fabric of your from your rug that you have left over. And make sure you do leave a little bit extra so you can have enough to fold to make that seam line a lot nicer. And then just pull and tug again and just kind of adjust it until you're happy and satisfied with the way your basket looks at the end. And then you just go ahead and fold it in and glue it together. I've been having a really hard time with my glue gun. I don't know if it's the glue or my glue gun itself, but I think I just need to get a new glue gun already. But I've loved this glue gun. I've had it for so long. But yeah, I think it's time for me to get a new one. So once you're done gluing your entire rug to your basket, this is the way it's going to look, and I love it, love it. So now what I did was the same fringe that it came with, I went ahead and glued it to the top of my basket. Make sure you glue the right side. I had glued the back side of it, and you can see it because it's where the knots are at. So make sure you're gluing it the right way or the way you want, and then go ahead and start gluing it to the top of your basket. So the fringe from the rug itself basically covered the entire basket, so you won't need any more. All I did was use 2 of the little fringes from my previous project because it was a little empty spot, but you can't really tell, so you don't absolutely have to have them there. You can just leave it as is and you won't even notice that there's 2 missing. So now what I did after I glued all of the fringe on top of my basket, I went ahead and unraveled one of these nautical ropes, and I grabbed 2 of them and started gluing them to the top of my basket. And I did that in order to cover the part of the fringe that I had cut off. Now, if you don't want to use the nautical rope, you can also just use black ribbon or even white ribbon and just glue that on top of your fringe area to your basket, just to cover up that area. And I just left that little piece of unraveled rope on the edge because I'll be cutting that off once I'm done. So just continue adding some hot glue and placing 2 of your ropes together. So here I am just adding another 2 pieces of my nautical rope and gluing it all around. Once you're done gluing all your rope around your basket, just go ahead and remove any of the extra rope that you might have that was unfringed. And then what I do is just basically grab the edge of my glue gun, and whatever's left over, I just rub it onto the ends to flatten them down and make sure they're nice and secure. Now what I did, which I should have done before I added my rope around my basket, but it's okay. I'm going to cover up my handles with the same rope. And I just glued the end to the back or the one edge of my handle, and then just started wrapping my rope around my handle. Again, if you don't want to use rope and you want to use maybe ribbon, you can eliminate this and just leave it as is, or you can wrap your ribbon around your basket handles as well. When you get to the other side of your handle, just go ahead and add a little bit of hot glue and place your glue and remove any of the extra ribbon or rope that you're using, and you do that to both ends. Now when you're done, since this is nautical rope, what I did do was grab my lighter and just kind of run it through to make sure it was all just looked nice and put together. So once I was done, this is the way it looks. So what do you guys think? Which one is your favorite? The boho basket or the boho rug set? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family.